Adrian.
Hi, teacher.
I'm so sorry. I was in another meeting and I don't know, I had some problems with my computer. What do you want to do? Can I please make it up to you?
Mm, mm.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, I'm so sorry, Adrian, for what happened. I don't know what was going on with my computer. Do you think maybe I just saw this message through the group? So since you guys are not gonna be having that class at 8, maybe you would like to replace this one at 8, from 8 to 8:15? Would that be okay? Or you're busy?
Oof, I'm going to be busy.
Okay, that's okay. What about Wednesday then? Because I don't think we're gonna be making no time. Because remember, Wednesday we're supposed to have one more, right? The 8th one.
Yes. Yes.
So can we maybe have 2 on Wednesday?
Yes, no problem.
Okay, so when would be good for you? Okay, I see you scheduled for 8:30, right?
Yes.
So maybe I can talk to Nicolas to move it for 9 so that you can have it from 8:30 to 9.
Okay. Yes, no problem.
Okay, so we can have 2 then. All right, Adrian. Sorry for this. Thank you so much.
No, no problem. I'm with problems with my connection too.
Yeah, it's such a shame.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Goodbye.
See you then. Bye bye.
See you.
Hi, Liliana.
Hi, teacher.
Hi there. Okay. So today we're going to be practicing task 4, which is the one where you just have the lecture. So you need to listen to the lecture and you will be presented 2 subtopics. Remember, so you get 2 subtopics and then you just need to summarize everything. So you're like, the lecture is about, I don't know, pollution. The professor illustrates this and then you move on to the subtopics, right? So you remember how task 4 was?
Yes, teacher, it's only listening, yeah?
Yeah, it's just the listening. Okay. So we're gonna be doing this one, I think. Okay, so here it is.
Lecture in a business class.
Today, we'll talk about how companies determine the initial price for their products. By that, I mean when they first introduce a product in the market. There are different approaches, and today we'll discuss 2 of them. They are quite different, each with their own advantages. One approach, or strategy, sets the initial price of the product high, followed by a lower price at a later stage. Why? Well, when introducing a new product, companies want to build a high-quality image for it. Products that cost more are believed to be of higher quality. So, during the early stages of the product life cycle, companies can make very high profits from consumers willing to pay more for a high product, and although consumers know that prices will eventually go down, they are also paying more to get the product sooner. This approach works very well with innovative high-tech products, for example. Now just think about when video recorders or video cameras or even cell phones first came out. They were very expensive, but then they became much more accessible. Another very common strategy sets an initial price low. Now this happens when the market is already saturated with the product, and the strategy is to undercut its competitors. Say there's a newly starting computer maker trying to gain market share. So what do? Well, they offer a computer at an affordable price, lower than existing brands. By doing this, the company appeals to new consumers who weren't probably even interested in getting a computer, and, well, of course, to existing consumers who might now be tempted to switch brands. Now, how does this company make profits with its low-priced computer? Well, one thing that's often done is to encourage their customers to buy accessories also manufactured by them, like printers or software, for example.
Using the points and examples from the lecture, explain the 2 pricing strategies described by the professor.
Okay. So now you'll get 30 seconds so that you can prepare your response. Okay. So if you're ready, you can start speaking now. Correct.
Okay, the products, the prices of the products. The teacher mentions that it 2 difference on this. can help to sell a different product with a different option, a different prices too. The first example that she says is the for example, when you sell a video camera or something like this, it can be a little expensive, but it have a lot of qualification. And the other is you can lose a little price, but this is necessary that this product are known in the world. But these two examples demonstrate the difference for sell some products with a good price, but and good things too. Yes.
Okay, great. So I like your timing. I think that was really good organized. So maybe one tip I could give you is pay attention a bit more maybe at the beginning. So in this task, in task 4, since you just have the listening, in order to know what to say and to even understand what the lecture is about, always pay attention a bit to the introduction and try to just repeat what they said. So in this case, it was strategies to set the initial price of a product. I don't know if we got that in the question. So in the question, we just got pricing strategies. So you can go with that because the lecture is about 2 pricing strategies when deciding the initial price for product. And then you did just fine. So we're first selling the price high, like with the video cameras and technology. And second, setting the price low when you want the product to be known first. So don't forget the examples too for the second one. I think it was computers, right? When you have a highly saturated market, you can start with a low price. And with grammar, just be careful with third persons, like it has instead of it have, or the product has instead of the product have. So just those third person maybe. All right?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so now let's do this one here. Here it goes.
Seconds to speak. Listen to part of a lecture in a biology class.
Birds have some of the best vision capabilities in the animal kingdom. Some bird species have vision that is 8 to 10 times greater than humans. Overall, a bird's eyes are extremely important for its survival. One aspect of birds' eyes that plays a role in helping them survive, in other words, to find food or to avoid predators, is the position of the eyes in the skull. Some birds have eyes that face forward on the skull, kind of similar to how humans' eyes are positioned. Forward-facing eyes allow a bird to clearly see and judge distances because it can focus on objects with both of its eyes and correctly perceive height, width, and depth. One type of bird with eyes positioned in the front of the skull is the hawk. Hawks eat animals like mice. Hawks have such good eyesight that they can spot a tiny mouse in a field from high up in the air. They spot the mouse and swoop down to catch it. Without such good eyesight, they would not be able to spot or catch their food. Other birds have eyes that are located on each side of the skull. This positioning of the eyes can help a bird to avoid predators. Instead of just seeing what's directly in front, they can see things that are on either side, permitting them to watch for danger in all directions. Imagine a duck wading near the edge of a lake. It needs to spend time eating grasses and insects, but it also is on constant lookout for danger from its predator, like the fox. An eye on each side of the duck's head allows it to see a fox approaching from either side. If it spots a fox, it can then fly away to safety. The placement of the eyes are critical in helping the duck avoid predators.
Using the examples in the lecture, explain how the position of birds' eyes is critical to their survival.
Okay, 30 seconds to prepare now. Okay. So now you can go ahead.
Okay, the position of the eyes in the beard. We can do some variation in his life, his how catch the aliments too. For example, the first example that the teacher gives is when the bears have location in only one way it can catch her prey. The other example that teacher gives is the bears we have two eyes in right and left. It could be since the all the passage all around of the bird. And it's good because the bird can reach his prey and go ahead to the maybe some depredators, yeah, for the birds, and it's very helpful for their.
Okay, good. Well done. You're really good with time. That's really an advantage you have. So okay, this time you got the idea. It's about the position of birds' eyes. So you got two subtopics, right? One where their eyes are looking at one way, as you said, so they're in front of the skull. And the other one is when they're at the sides, on the right and the left. So check out some vocabulary also for biology, especially when we're talking about animals, like avoiding predators and catching prey, right? So those are usually the two biggest, I don't know, goals that animals have, avoiding predators and catching prey. So when their eyes are facing front, they use them to catch prey so they can see better. And when their eyes are on the side, then it's better for them to avoid being caught, to avoid predators. And also don't forget the examples, I think it was the duck for the second one. I don't remember the other one. And regarding grammar, what I always say, careful with pronouns, when we're talking about animals, make it plural instead of saying his or her, because I think you're kind of getting confused. Always talk in plural. So animals that do this, their eyes are on their skull and they can do this. Okay, so practice making it plural. Okay, and also don't forget your transitions, like first, furthermore, firstly, in addition. That can also help. Right, Liliana? Any questions?
Okay, teacher, thanks. No, very good for your help. It's good.
Okay then. So I'll see you on Wednesday. We have our session there.
Okay, teacher, see you Wednesday. Bye, thanks.
Bye, take care.
Si quieres vender online,
Hi, teacher. Good evening.
Hi, Irina.
Hi, teacher.
Okay, so we're gonna be practicing task 3 today, which is the one where you first need to read the article, you need to find the definition, and then you need to listen to the lecture, right? So you remember task 3?
Yes. Yes. I think so. Mhm.
Okay, so in your response, you're just like, Okay, according to the passage and then the topic, right? Behavior modification is when this happens. And now in the lecture, the professor illustrates the concept with the example of, and then you just go with the example.
Okay. I have notes. It's when
Right.
I have to read something and then I have to hear what the professor says.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So here's the first one for today. This is the reading, and you got 50 seconds so that you can read. Okay, let's listen now.
Now listen to part of a lecture on this topic in a psychology class.
Consider this experiment. Two groups of people were asked to watch TV, and while they were watching, a picture flashed on the screen. Less than a second, very quickly, so it was barely noticeable. The picture was of a boy with a birthday cake. Now, like I said, there were two groups, and each group saw a slightly different version of the picture. One group got the boy looking angry.
Yeah.
In fact, he was actually throwing the cake on the floor.
The audio is like, I can hear it very well. Se está cortando un poco.
Really?
Yes.
Is it my internet?
I don't know. I don't know si es el suyo o es el mío. Pero desde el principio casi que se cortó.
I'm gonna play it again, and you tell me if it's better, okay?
Now listen to part of a lecture on this topic in a psychology class.
Consider this experiment. Two groups of people were asked to watch TV, and while they were watching, a picture flashed on the screen. Less than a second, very quickly, so it was barely noticeable. The picture was of a boy with a birthday cake. Now, like I said, there were two groups, and each group saw a slightly different version of the picture. One group got the boy looking angry. In fact, he was actually throwing the cake on the floor. The other group,
because I'm not getting that. I usually get like a message when it's my it's like your connection is unstable, but I don't get that now. So
Maybe it's my internet, because I can hear like the example of the boy. I just hear until that part.
okay. I don't know, what can we do? I don't know. Or do you think that I can't hear it well, so it couldn't be the video. It's weird. I don't know. What
It's
shall
my
we do?
internet, maybe. No, maybe it's my internet.
Okay. So what do we do?
I don't know. What can I do? Ow.
Yeah, think about yours, because I'm also hearing like you're cutting off as well. So.
Yes. I open my door a little, so
Okay.
I hope it can work well.
Okay, let's try one more time.
Okay, thank you, teacher. Sorry.
No worries.
Es
Now,
desde el
listen to
punto.
part of a
I'm sorry?
Puede ser, para no repetir todo, si quiere, desde el ejemplo del niño.
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you.
very quickly, so it was barely noticeable. The picture was of a boy with a birthday cake. Now, like I said, there were two groups, and each group saw a slightly different version of the picture. One group got the boy looking angry. In fact, he was actually throwing the cake on the floor. The other group got a picture of the boy smiling, happy, holding out the cake like he was offering it. Same boy, same cake, but different emotions expressed in each picture. Everyone was then asked to look at a different image. Now, this is a third image, right? Again, it's the boy and the cake, but this time the image stayed on the screen. In this picture, the boy's just holding the cake, basically no emotion on his face, everything very neutral. Now remember, nobody knew they'd already seen a picture of this boy. After a minute, everyone was asked to describe the boy's personality. Those who'd been exposed to the image of the angry boy, they generally described the boy's personality negatively. Those who'd earlier seen the happy boy described him, well, positively.
Describe what subliminal perception is and how the experiment discussed by the professor illustrates this phenomenon.
So now you have 30 seconds so you can prepare your response. Let's go. Okay. So now you can start. You can go ahead.
Teacher, sorry, can I see the, como el texto ¿cómo sería?
Sure.
De poner las cosas.
This one here? Subliminal perception? Or the question you mean? You mean the template.
Yes.
The template.
See,
Sure.
the template is the lecture is about after introducing the topic, the professor
Yeah.
picture. Is that? Yes.
No, that's for task 4 where you just have the lecture. So in this one, you need to connect everything. So you're like, according to the reading passage, subliminal perception is. Now in the lecture, the professor
Okay.
illustrates this example. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But there is a question. There's a word that I don't understand. I don't know if I can ask
Which
you.
one is it?
Is
Sure.
is the threshold just below the
Threshold of
threshold?
consciousness.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so the in Spanish it would be umbral. So just below the threshold of conscious, so just below the umbral of conscious.
Okay.
You know, so yeah.
Okay. Can I see?
Okay. So now you can go ahead.
Can you put the other? Sorry.
Which one?
This
one?
en donde está
The template?
yes, that. Sorry.
Okay. I think in this case we just need this one because it's just one example. But yeah, sure. I'm gonna make it smaller. Hold on. Okay.
Yes, because I wrote that, but I don't find it right now.
That's okay. Okay. All right then. So, all right. So now you can go ahead.
Okay. According to the reading passage, subliminal perception is the proportion of the stimulus just below the threshold of conscious awareness. In the lecture, the professor further illustrated this concept by providing an example of a group of two people that are watching TV, and there is like a flash on the screen, and one group see like a image of a happy boy and the other of a sad boy. At the end, the people ask this group to describe like the personality of this boy, and the first group say that the boy like has like a bad temperament, and the second group say like he has like a good temperament and is a happy boy and all that. Just for the imagine they saw.
Okay. All right. So I like how you summarized the example. It was actually hard to summarize because it was a lot, but you did just fine. You know, you focus on what's important. There's two groups of people. One that sees the boy throwing, I think it's, you know, negatively throwing a cake, and the other one is the same boy, but just in a more happy way. And then when they're asked to describe it, the first one describes him negatively, and the second one positive. So that's it. That's the summary of the example. And you did just fine with that, which is something that usually takes more time. So what can I say? Maybe pronunciation a bit of these words like passage at the beginning or image. Remember, it's temper. So, but someone that has bad temper. But I think, you know, that's it. I think you're really good in this task. The definition was clear and the example was also good. So nothing to say, maybe add some more transitions, like afterwards they're asked to describe the boy. And I don't know, first they describe him like this, or on the other hand, the other group describes him negative. So maybe just those.
Okay.
But in general, we're good.
Okay, thank you,
Okay.
teacher. At the beginning, I didn't understand the lecture very well.
Oh,
I don't know
because
why. I think I wasn't really concentrated.
maybe because of everything that happened. Yeah, maybe you were. Okay, but you did just fine. I mean, I liked your understanding of the lecture. And another thing is that usually the last part is the most important part, you know, how it connects to this. So the thing about the example really was that they were able to, I mean, that image that they saw, even if it was just a flash, it had an influence on them, you know, because they have this subliminal perception that allows them to have an influence on things that they are not consciously conscious that they have seen, you know. So that's usually the most important. Okay, so you know what, I mean, it's supposed to be over, but since, I mean, whoever's next is not joining, maybe we can do one more. You want to do one more?
Okay.
Okay, so here's the one. This is the reading.
Yes.
You got 50 seconds.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, 50 seconds. Okay, now let's listen to the lecture.
Now listen to part of a lecture from a biology class.
There's a large tropical insect called the peanut bug. Yes, like the peanuts that you eat. And the peanut bug's front wings are colored so that they blend in with their surroundings. But its back wings, which are usually closed and hidden, have these bright, colorful spots on them. And when the peanut bug's attacked, it suddenly opens its back wings, and out pop these big, bright colors. And that surprises the predator and gives the peanut bug a chance to get away. And then you have a butterfly called the morpho butterfly. And parts of the morpho butterfly's wings are very shiny. They reflect a lot of sunlight. When this butterfly is resting, this shiny part of its wings is hidden. Now, morpho butterflies are often attacked by birds. So when a bird approaches, the morpho flies away. And when the morpho flaps its wings, all the bird can see are flashes of light reflected from the morpho's wings. Those flashes of light make it very difficult for the bird to follow the morpho, and the morpho is usually able to get away.
Using the examples of the peanut bug and the morpho butterfly, explain the concept of revealing coloration.
Okay, so example of the peanut bug and the morpho butterfly.
Okay.
All right, so 30 seconds to prepare.
Okay. Can I see the text this?
Yeah.
Please?
All right, so I'm gonna create.
It-
Okay, here it is.
The maybe
I
the
am in
document?
the.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, teacher. Okay.
Okay.
Teacher,
So-
teacher, sorry, what is the meaning of? I don't hear very well. The animal, the first animal is peanut bug. What is the
Peanut
meaning?
bug. Yeah, it's like it's an insect. I don't know what's the name of it in Spanish, but it's like, okay, I think we can look for it. Where is it? Peanut bug.
Peanut bug.
Yeah, it's like peanut butter, but peanut bug.
Ah,
So it's called machaca. This one here. Peanut bug.
okay. Ah, like una polilla.
Yeah, kind.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, teacher. Peanut bug.
Okay. So, all right. So you can, oh, where is it? Okay, so you can go ahead now.
Okay. According to the reading passage, revealing coloration is a defensive strategy that involves the use of coloration. This helps the animal to hide and protect from predators. In the lecture, the professor further illustrates this concept by providing the example of an insect called peanut bug that is a kind like butterfly that has bright colors, and when this insect attacks, it shows like the bright colors to his presa and surprise them. And the other example that the professor said is the morphed butterfly that is like the same. This butterfly show like bright colors when it flies, and so when the bird wants to like eat them, it's difficult to the bird to follow the butterfly.
Okay, nicely done. The only thing is that we were missing enough time to explain the second one. So maybe just try to summarize it a bit more. Careful with this. You know, most of the biology topics that I've seen is the same. So it's either they're wanting to avoid being caught, you know, avoid predators, or they're trying to catch prey. So it's always one of those two. In this case, I think that this is like a defense mechanism, as you said. So this is mostly to avoid being caught. You know, instead of catching their prey, it's more for avoiding predators. So careful with that. And in order to summarize a bit more, just say something like, first, the peanut bag has these bright colors that I don't know. I think this one was like that reflects the sunlight, right? And that makes it hard for their predators to follow them. And the second one, and you go for that one. And also save time at the beginning as well. But I think you're doing really good for this one. That was actually a hard one, biology one, but it was really clear, concise. So nothing to say really. Okay. Do you have any questions though?
Sorry.
Do you
I
have
don't
any
have
questions?
a question.
You
No,
don't? Oh,
no, teacher. Thank
all
you.
right. So I'll see you next class.
Okay. Thank you, teacher.
Bye.
Have a
No
good night.
worries. You too. Hi. Are you learning?
Hi, teacher. Good night. Sorry, I am late.
No worries, that's okay. So today we're going to be practicing task 3, which is the one where you first read, you got the title and you got the definition there. And then you need to listen to a lecture, right? And then at the end of the day, you're just connecting everything. So you're like, according to the reading passage, behavior modification is this. Now, in the lecture, the professor illustrates it with the example of kids and how do we do this and stuff. So you remember how it was?
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to start with the first task now. It'll be this one. So here's the reading, and you have 50 seconds to read. Okay. Now we'll listen to the lecture.
Now listen to part of a lecture on this topic in a psychology class.
Consider this experiment. Two groups of people were asked to watch TV, and while they were watching, a picture flashed on the screen. Less than a second, very quickly, so it was barely noticeable. The picture was of a boy with a birthday cake. Now, like I said, there were two groups, and each group saw a slightly different version of the picture. One group got the boy looking angry. In fact, he was actually throwing the cake on the floor. The other group got a picture of the boy smiling, happy, holding out the cake like he was offering it. Same boy, same cake, but different emotions expressed in each picture. Everyone was then asked to look at a different image. Now, this is a third image, right? Again, it's the boy and the cake, but this time the image stayed on the screen. In this picture, the boy's just holding the cake, basically no emotion on his face, everything very neutral. Now remember, nobody knew they'd already seen a picture of this boy. After a minute, everyone was asked to describe the boy's personality. Those who'd been exposed to the image of the angry boy, they generally described the boy's personality negatively. Those who'd earlier seen the happy boy described him, well, positively.
Describe what subliminal perception is and explain how the experiment discussed by the professor illustrates this phenomenon.
So you have 30 seconds to prepare. Okay. So now you can go ahead and start. No?
Okay.
Okay.
The perception is a process that is performed by human beings but definition as a brain process in whereby association of different stimuli at the brain create as an internal reality about what happens in this environment. Also, the human being is distinguished from the animal world by its ability is to reason. Furthermore, I take a lot of subliminal perception or human perception or message or visual auditory message that are emitted below the thresholds of human consciousness. Subliminal perceptions may not audible or visible enough for the conscious mind to register, but it made unconsciously. Sorry, I cannot do it.
I'm sorry. So I think that was good, but you didn't mention you didn't talk about the lecture, not at all. So remember, it has to be about both. So from the reading, you just have to extract the definition of what subliminal perception is. And it's gotta be one sentence, so just one thing. Like, for instance, in this case, it will be subliminal perception is the perception of a stimuli just below the threshold of conscious. That's it, that's the definition. And then you need to talk about the lecture, the example that the professor gives, which is the one about the two groups of people describing a boy. So they were presented a flash with the image of a boy and how they describe it. But you need to make sure you mention and you even talk more about the lecture. Okay, so it's not just about what subliminal perception is, but it's mainly about the examples that you hear in the lecture. Okay? You get that? So it's always like that. Use like 15 seconds at most, you talk about the reading. So according to the reading passage, subliminal perception is when you perceive something and you're not aware of it. In the lecture, the professor illustrates it with the example of two groups of people that were asked to describe a boy. So they did this, okay? So you need to combine both of them. All right, let's do one more. Any questions? Do we have time? Okay, so here's the reading. You got 50 seconds to read.
Mommy.
Okay, now let's listen to the lecture.
Now listen to part of a lecture from a biology class.
There's a large tropical insect called the peanut bug. Yes, like the peanuts that you eat. And the peanut bug's front wings are colored so that they blend in with their surroundings. But its back wings, which are usually closed and hidden, have these bright, colorful spots on them. And when the peanut bug's attacked, it suddenly opens its back wings, and out pop these big, bright colors. And that surprises the predator and gives the peanut bug a chance to get away. And then you have a butterfly called the morpho butterfly. And parts of the morpho butterfly's wings are very shiny. They reflect a lot of sunlight. When this butterfly is resting, this shiny part of its wings is hidden. Now, morpho butterflies are often attacked by birds. So when a bird approaches, the morpho flies away. And when the morpho flaps its wings, all the bird can see are flashes of light reflected from the morpho's wings. Those flashes of light make it very difficult for the bird to follow the morpho, and the morpho is usually able to get away.
Using the examples of the peanut bug and the morpho butterfly, explain the concept of revealing coloration.
Okay, now you have 30 seconds to prepare. Okay. So you can go ahead now.
Okay. Animal coloration. I understand that as the general appearance of animals resulting from the reflex and emission by from that surface. Some animals are brightly colored, while others are hard to see. In some species, such as the beautiful toenail parrots, scorpions, colors and neither doesn't, while the female are less visible. Others are separate reasons why animals have both colors camouflage. I remember that the other day I read a book that regulating coloration, and many animals use coloration to protect themselves from predators of butterfly. One of the strategy involving the use of coloration is that as no as regulating coloration, animals employing that strategies have an area of rain color on so far of the body. This is bright color, usually hidden from predators' view. In approach of predator, the animal suddenly reveals area of bright colors. This unexpected split of color startles of controls the predator and tries to move up predator with an opponent to escape.
Okay. All right, Eleni. So I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't quite understand and hear it all. I think there's some background noise that's not letting me hear you well. So it's a bit like you were far away and I cannot hear you that well. But I did hear some parts of it and I think it was a lot better. I'm not sure, but I think you mentioned some things about the lecture, that how they hide from predators, how their predators are birds. So but you need to make sure that you do it, you train to use this template, and also that you are acknowledged that you're just like a reporter, so you need to say something like, the professor gives the example of the morpho butterfly that has these bright colors on its wings. So when the predator or the bird that wants to catch them approaches them, they open their wings and the sunlight is reflected, so it's hard for them to be caught. So just make sure that you're doing that. So saying like, the professor said this and the professor stated and the professor did that, instead of saying, because I heard one part where you said, I remember that one day I read this book that was talking about revealing coloration. So you don't even have to use the pronoun I, because it's not about you. So you just tell me what the professor said and the reading said. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Do you have any questions, Eleni?
Yes. What are the live this?
I'm sorry?
Which YouTube channel for view live?
This live? You mean the speaking session?
Yes.
So the thing is, usually the speaking sessions are not available for everyone because, it's not just you, it's everyone that's been on this session, including other groups. So I don't think you're going to be able to see this. It's usually just the classes that we have in the YouTube channel. The speaking sections are just recorded in order to keep control, that we're having this session. but they're not going to be available. I don't think so.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, Eleni. So I'll see you next class.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.